The school committee recently held a meeting, and masks for students was one of the main topics of discussion. Some community members showed up to make their voice heard.
Dr. Kavanaugh and members of the school committee, we, the undersigned 353 Hopkinton residents, write in support of the continuation of the school district's global indoor masking for all of the district's school campuses. Like all of our neighbors in Hopkinton, we are genuinely fatigued by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, mainstream scientific experts, including the AAP and CDC, continue to endorse global masking in schools regardless of vaccination status. While our reported district cases are decreasing, our town and the school positivity numbers remain high. The current COVID surge is by no means over. Families in all of Hopkinton schools continue to receive daily COVID notices, and our town has occupied the CDC's red zone for much of this season. Our vaccination rates locally are unquestionably impressive. Regrettably, vaccination alone is not enough to stop this variant spread. Global masking is a critical and accessible tool to ensure more in-person schooling for more students and to protect our most vulnerable community members.
There are members of every community in the world who are characterized as immunocompromised. Fortunately, not only do these members make up a small segment of the community, but we also understand how we can protect them. During COVID, it seems that this term safetyism has sort of taken over. Safety at all costs, at all times, in all scenarios, no matter how adversely a certain mitigation measure can impact the greater population. Often the remedy is actually worse than the disease itself. When I was a senior here in this very district, not in this school, but the middle school, when that was the high school, in 1997, my sister passed away just before her 16th birthday. Her name was Chelsea, and she was born with a disease, a very rare disease called Sanfilippo syndrome. It's a rare autosomal recessive disorder. So she was, from birth, the definition of immunocompromised, severely. Most children with Sanfilippo pass away in their teens, and usually the final cause of death is pneumonia due to their weakened immune system. She was in a wheelchair most of her life, on feeding tubes at the end, and spent much of her time actually at the respite center. And so they remember her quite well. Actually, they still have pictures of her up. I bring her up because despite her heightened risk from many illnesses, my family never once asked the entire community to be responsible for her protection. We never expected the entire community to be subjected to mitigation measures for her safety. We knew what we could do to protect her, and that's what we did.
I walked 2.5 miles in the hospital pushing an IV and holding a suitcase of chest tube drain that I lost the day I lost my lung. But a virus took me out and left me bedridden on a liquid diet for 3 weeks. I laid in bed thinking, this is ridiculous. How can this be happening to me? I don't have the white or red blood cells as backup in my bone marrow. Fighting stage 4 metastatic colon cancer took everything my body had. That's what immunocompromised is. It's me. I'm that person. I was 45 and an elite athlete at diagnosis in November of 2019. Now I'm the person writing to you asking for your protection. I look okay, my hair is growing back, my kids are masked and participating in sports, but we are not okay.
Chlorine, polyester, polypropylene, fiberglass, formaldehyde, ethylene oxide, oxyrane, I don't know what that is, polytetrafluoroethylene, and perfluorooctanoic acids. And like I said, this is not a comprehensive list. The industrial dyes, I couldn't even pronounce half of what they are. But what they all have in common is they're all carcinogenic. And so the kids are breathing this stuff for 35 hours a week. And I'm worried that in 5 or 10 years, there's going to be a lot of kids walking around with mouth cancer because they've been breathing through these masks all day long. No.
And I've seen some people that believe in the other side that say, we're afraid that they're going to get bullied if they continue to wear a mask. But my opinion, the way I've experienced it is that we are bullied when we say that we don't want to wear a mask. And my children have heard the term plague rats because they have not worn a mask because of a choice that, as adults we've made. So I hope you can understand my hesitation to even come here, because I'm honestly nervous what people are going to say about me after this, but I can speak to what's in my own home. And my children are struggling with masks as little kids. They've struggled to learn how to read. They've struggled social cues with their peers. Teachers, they don't always understand emotions that are going on. It's really been a struggle.
3 minutes. I hate to
The
interrupt.
school committee voted to lift the mask requirement for all Hopkinton public schools effective February 28th, providing individual choice on wearing masks at school, including strongly recommending masks for unvaccinated students and staff in alignment with the DESE policy, and acknowledging DESE reserves the right to reinstitute the mask mandate if appropriate based on state and local public health data.